Welcome to the New Mission podcast, where change starts with a conversation. It's a platform created for people that value open-mindedness, personal growth, and meaningful stories with a positive message. Hosted by myself, Tahnee Shakerley, I aim to use this platform to help create a wiser, kinder, and more understanding world, making good people louder. Each episode, we do a quote that encompasses the episode. So today's quote is, "There is no greater agony than bearing the untold story inside of you," which is by Maya Angelou. And this is going to be a solo episode. It's also going to be my first ever New Mission podcast episode, so very special. I'm still learning and figuring some things out, so please bear with me. But essentially, it's going to be a little bit about who I am, my background, what led me to this point, and some experiences and lessons that I've been going through over the past few weeks leading up to this point too. Okay, so let's begin. My name is Tahnee. I am 27. I grew up in London, born and raised, but a lot of my childhood I spent traveling with my family and visiting a ton of countries and meeting incredible people and experiencing incredible cultures. I've always been very fascinated by the world at large and with humanity, and something that I've found since I was really young is that I've always cared really deeply about navigating the world with as much integrity and justice at the forefront as possible. I think I've seen a lot of darkness both internally but also externally in the world, where I've had this relentless drive to want to produce as much light and positivity for myself and others as possible. I really do love speaking light into people. I love supporting my friends, my family, good strangers, helping them believe in themselves, celebrate themselves, strive for more, learn more, celebrate everything. I think I really love helping people. I think it brings me so much joy, and I love standing up for people. I believe in the good in the world. So that's always been something that's been really big for me, and I think that's also led me into wanting to create something that has such a positive impact, and the whole idea of conversations that can create change, because I truly do believe that one conversation with the right person talking about topics said in the right way, even if it's something you've heard before, can completely change your mindset and your perspective on an entire situation or belief system or person, whatever it is. I think we should all be open to change always, and always open to other people's opinions and other people's experiences, because we become a lot more empathetic and understanding and graceful, I think, as a race, as a human race. And I think if we all spoke more and really listened to each other more, we genuinely would be creating a more kinder, wiser, understanding world, which is what I'm hoping to do here. I went through this period, honestly, probably in the last 5 years, where I felt like there has been so much negativity in the social spaces. It feels like this psychological warfare where toxicity is rewarded with clicks and likes and engagement, and you have things like hate, rage bait and clickbait, and it's really negatively affecting consumers, and it's negatively affecting our society. And I got tired of it, and I really just wanted to take my frustration and do something positive with it and create a platform and be part of, I guess, the good side of social media, tackling issues that the world actually needs spoken about, and in a way that is helping us grow as a race and helping us grow as a community, and allowing people to recognize how much more we have in common than we have different. Recognize how much division is often manufactured to benefit a small group of people and distract the masses from the reality, which is that we all are human beings, and we are more similar than we are different, and we all have incredible things to learn and share with each other. So that's kind of the ethos of the platform. This segment is called Purpose Over Fear. It's really strange to say out loud, I recognize, especially when it's so early in this journey, and it's the first episode of the New Mission podcast, and the very beginning of a project. But I know, and I've known for a long time, from the depths of my soul, that this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and this is my calling, this is my purpose, to sound cliche. And it got me thinking about, what does purpose feel like? And for me, purpose feels I think it can be extremely heavy. It's like this pressure on you when you know that there's something that you're meant to be doing, and you feel a calling and this pull towards it, and yet it's unfulfilled, and it's so painful and heavy when it's unfulfilled. And that's why the quote of this episode is, "There's no greater agony than an untold story inside of you," because it really does feel like a gut-wrenching agony trying to carry on and maintain my old life, when I've known for a long time deep down that I have this greater purpose and this greater calling to fulfill, and this completely new direction that I've been pulled to explore. Outside of the New Mission podcast, I am the founder of Align Agency, which is a music marketing agency geared towards amplifying and championing the voices of female talents, so female artists. And so we're an all-female team, and obviously all-female clientele, and it is really impactful because it always started with a really great intention of wanting to make the industry a better place, make it a fairer place, especially for artists who I feel, in terms of like female artists, are often underrepresented or, you know, under-resourced and aren't marketed in a way that feels genuine to their true character and their true authenticity and what makes them so magical. And yeah, I've been in labels and I've been in the agency side, and as I said, I've worked in 6 or 7 years, and I so often see women that work in the business side of the industry as well as women that work on the front line as artists sidelined, and male artists or men in music being prioritised and given more resources or more attention, and marketed often in a better way. And I feel like a lot of the marketing for female artists and female talent is honestly quite lazy and quite archaic and feels rooted in, a playbook that probably was active 100 years ago. This whole sex sells and, you know, the over-objectification, over-sexualization of the female body to market music, which you just don't see in our male counterparts and our male artists, people like Ed Sheeran, people like Lewis Capaldi, where their merit and their personality get to be what shines through. And I've just felt that it's such a shame because women are so incredible, we're so talented, we have incredible character, incredible personality, and, you know, female musicians and artists are incredible, and they deserve the exact same treatment and acknowledgement and effort in terms of marketing them as their male counterparts. And yeah, I'm really passionate about that. I'm really passionate about the industry side of it as well, because working as a woman in music, I've faced a lot of environments that are extremely toxic, that are extremely misogynistic, being talked over in meetings, being constantly sidelined, made to feel really small, made to feel insignificant, being objectified, being sexualized, discriminated against, all of these things. And I just wanted to create a space, honestly, selfishly, also just for myself, like a safe space where I knew that I could speak up for the things that I believed in, stand up for myself, work with people that I truly, truly respect and have similar values and an alignment with that. And a lot of that intention is where the name came from, Align Agency, because I wanted to work with people that aligned with me in terms of mentality, outlook, values, integrity, which is something that I didn't often get in my previous roles, where I didn't have a lot of choice and I didn't have a lot of freedom. So I'm very, very privileged and lucky to have built this thing. And the greatest blessing of the business, honestly, is my team and my clients and the people that I get to work with on a daily basis that bring so much joy and fulfillment to my life, like working with 2 wonderful women on my team, especially Abby and Maddie, who are the light of my life and are the backbone of my business, and getting to give them a space where they are safe to voice their opinions, they are encouraged, they are lifted up, they are invested in, and they get to grow and believe in their potential is the greatest gift that the business could ever have given me. So yeah, all that to say that I am very blessed and very aware of how incredible it is for me to get to live this life where I've built this business and it's in music, which has always been my first love. I had dreamed of creating something like this for a while, and it was a similar thing, similar emotion to what I had before creating this podcast, is that I felt a calling to entrepreneurship. I felt a calling to have something of my own, but I was so engulfed in fear and like decision paralysis and overthinking, that it took me a long time to get to the point of building that business. But I genuinely believe that that time was necessary. I think I give myself a really hard time for not being able to materialize my dreams like this, and there being a gap between me deciding that I really, really want something, or thinking about it and it constantly kind of coming up in my brain, and it becoming a reality. But what I've learned from my last business is that all of that thinking and it coming back to you, and you daydreaming, and you know, having these daydreams and having these visions of what your future could look like. And even if you're working on it in your brain as opposed to like planning on it, whatever it is, you're still working towards it. And ultimately that goal does become a reality as long as you're working towards it, like incrementally. But don't let the fear of it never happening engulf you, because it doesn't come from a place of trust, of self-trust. It comes from a place of feeling like you're not going to live up to the things that you want to do. And that actually feeds into a place of low self-confidence, honestly. Like you saying to yourself, I want to do all these things, but I'm not doing them right now, isn't doing yourself any justice. The reframe of that is to say, these are all the things that I want to do. I'm really excited about them, me thinking about them, me daydreaming about them. It's still working towards them. And because I believe in it, and because I want it, and because I'm going to work towards it, it's going to happen. That's the reframe. And that's the energy that I'm going into this with, is that I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking about being visible online for a long time, maybe like honestly over 2 years. And I've been thinking about it. I've been filming myself doing like little vlogs to build comfortability in front of the camera. I've never posted. If you know you're going to do the thing, you're not going to live in fear. That's what I'm saying. So you just have to trust that you're going to do the thing. You are going to do the thing. Even if it's not right now, even if you need to think about it a little bit longer, even if you need to talk to people about it, even if you need to do what I do and like do what I did and practice like self-shooting and vlogging to build confidence on the camera, like you need to have that faith in yourself and in a greater power that the thing that you're meant to be doing and your calling is going to materialize at the time in which it needs to, and everything that is building up to that point is also all meant to happen in that exact order. So don't ever give yourself a hard time for the fact that it's not instant, that you're making your dreams come true. It's a long game. Things are going to take time, and you need to, in order to enjoy that time, you need to have faith in the end result, faith in yourself, and faith in a greater power that what is meant for you will come to you and will come at the most perfect timing, always. Purpose over fear. I've been afraid for a long time about being visible and being out here, putting myself out here, but it just came to a point where the purpose and the weight of the calling was stronger than any of the fear that I experienced. The purpose was more important. Being in service is more important than my insecurities and my doubts and my fears of being judged. So that's what kind of brought me here today, to be able to do this right now, because I really do think that God is speaking through me, and he's putting me right here, right now, in front of this camera, confronting my fears, because I have something important to say. And so yeah, purpose over fear every time. The next chapter is called The Price of Fear is Often Regret, which is a quote by Robin Sharma. I don't know if you can tell, but I love my quotes. So as I mentioned, for a long time I've been really terrified of showing up online, being visible, being in the public eye. That's why when I work in music, my preference has always been to work in the business side, to work behind the scenes, behind the camera, and not front facing. And I think the worst thing, honestly, is this idea of being misunderstood or people misconstruing my intentions or my character through the things that I say, because since I was very young, like, being misunderstood was a really big thing for me. Like, it was a really big pet peeve, and I sometimes over-communicate because I'm so afraid of people not really seeing me for who I am and understanding the intention in which I say things, or not seeing my heart. I've been quiet and I've been scared for too long to use my voice and to be visible. And enough is enough. I don't want to look back in however many years on my deathbed and think that I didn't do every single thing that I dreamed of doing, that I knew that I should be doing, that I knew that I wanted, that I knew was my calling. I can't stand the feeling of regret. Like, fear, of course, is terrifying, but regret must be one of the worst feelings in the whole world. I genuinely believe that. The next chapter is about making a mess and anti-perfectionism, which is something that I really, really need to work on and am actively working on, which is why the mentality that I'm using to push myself towards this project and to fuel this project is starting before you're ready and making a mess and learning from it, and the idea of progress over perfection, because progress wins every time. And there are some problems and some things that you can only figure out and grow from through doing them. You can't figure them out through thinking about it, you can't figure them out through planning through it, and you just have to do it to learn from it, and do it messily, do it bad, do it wrong, fuck it up, make a mess, make a mistake. It'll be embarrassing, it could be humiliating, but you go through it. And I guess failure, right? Like, the opposite of perfectionism is failure, and the reason why a lot of people have perfectionistic traits or tendencies is because they're scared of failing and scared of looking stupid, which I'm learning not to do, because this is not something that I would ever normally do, and I could be making myself look really stupid right now, but it's part of it, right? And there's this episode from Diary of a CEO with Simon, I can't remember his last name, but I will link it, where they talk about a ceramic bowl and how the ones that are kind of manufactured and copy-paste are, by the book, perfect, but the ones that have been broken, have been put back together with beautiful detail and beautiful paint, actually have so much more value, right? And it's this idea of imperfection and being unique and being a little bit messy adds so much character and flavour to your personality and your life and whatever you put out into the world. So I definitely am doing this with the intention of, this is obviously not perfect. This is not exactly how I envisioned it to be, but nothing ever is exactly how you envision it to be, ever. Even if you plan for days, or you plan for weeks, or you plan for months, you can't control everything, and you can't plan your way through life and not actually act with those plans. And the acting part is making a mess publicly, right? You can make a mess in your plans, and that's just between you and Google Docs. but actually acting and putting yourself out there and making a mess publicly is what allows you to grow and like learn new things that you can't learn through planning. And I am so excited that I've got to this point, even though it's just the first episode, because I actually feel like this might be one of the most important moments in this project is just starting. And to be fully honest, I'm very underprepared, and that's really unusual because I'm the type of person that plans everything to the T. Like, I overthink and I overplan and I look for everything that could possibly go wrong, and I think of every single thing that I need to be thinking about, and I've decided not to do that for this, because I actually think that has gotten, for me, a lot in the way of me actually just starting and acting, because it means that I actually just have to show up messy and show up not perfect. And funnily enough, it's often the thing that we're most passionate about, that we care about the most, that we aren't able to show up 100% and be public and be visible with, because we care about it so much and we want it to be perfect. And because we care about it, we put so much pressure on the perfection of it. Honestly, I do think this is something that is often experienced by women, especially because we're so often criticised and critiqued so negatively in the media and in real life as well, just under such a constant microscope. It's hard to feel like it's easy to speak up and to be visible and to be bold and be weird and be messy. And yeah, I just think we're very vulnerable to open fire and scrutiny, like public scrutiny, which is probably why there aren't as many female-led podcast platforms in the UK, for example. I think it's like a third of all podcasts are female-led in the UK. So I really want to encourage more representation in media overall, which echoes a lot of what my business ethos is, and ultimately encouraging more good people with good messages to use their voices, and if that's something they feel called to do. But yeah, ultimately I can't preach what I don't practice, which is why I'm only preaching this now, because I'm using this entire platform and this entire podcast as a testing ground for this new ethos of start before you're ready and messy can be perfect. So the reason why I feel that it's really important for good people to speak up more and use their voices, and that's a lot of what I want to champion here, is because for some reason I've noticed that a lot of the most ignorant people are the loudest, and I don't know where that comes from, but I think it's true. Like a lot of noise online is very toxic and very negative and gets a lot of traction because it's controversial, or because it's divisive, or because it will, controversial and it's conversational, so it brings up a lot of people in the comment section. But that doesn't, controversial doesn't mean good, and I don't think ignorance should be so loud. And I think there needs to be more of a balance of people that are maybe more informed and more open-minded and more positive, and actually want to make a good impact and a positive influence on the younger generation and people that are consuming content in like online in general. So yeah, I think that's also something that really drives me, is ignorance is loud, and I'm sick of being frustrated at how loud it is. And I've been giving myself a hard time because it's like, ignorance is really loud, but you're silent. So again, practice what you preach. If you want more people to speak up, you need to be one of them. And that's one of the reasons why I started this. Recently, I've been reading this book called Building a Story Brand, and they talk about the gap between the hero's current state and their ideal state when you're building any sort of story, any sort of narrative, be that in film, be that in TV, be that in a book, and how that gap is so important, because if it's filled too quickly and the audience has a really quick resolve, they're no longer invested in the story. And I think it's such an interesting framing, because we always think about, the idea of be invested in the journey, and like it's the process and it's the climb, and it's not about the outcome, and you've got to learn to enjoy the process. And that has been something that's resonated with me, but I don't think it really sunk in the same way when I put it in the context of this idea of like branding and storytelling, and how that gap between where we are and where we want to be is meant to be a gap for a reason. It just makes the story interesting. It makes for a better story if you treat your life like you're the main character, and you're able to like romanticize that the thing in the future is something that you are going to get. The outcome already exists, but it's this journey part that is so key. I had this obsession with the fact that I would put things on my to-do list, or I would write things down that I wanted to do, and I would have to keep moving them to the next day, or to like the next week, or to the next month, because I had other things on, or I just wasn't able to prioritize them. And I had this intense fear of the fact that, oh my god, like I'm just never going to do these things, and just being so stressed out at the fact that I'm not able to like bring to life all my visions that second or that week. And it's that conversation around faith again. Like, we're meant to not have those things now. We're meant to be working towards them. They're meant to be invisible. except in here, right? Except your vision, to be able to see things that other people can't see. And yeah, I just was really fascinated by the story gap and how that's obviously like my marketing brain, how that's used in branding and marketing as the way to tell like an amazing story, and how that's helped me reframe the fact that there's so much beauty in the journey, there's so much beauty in the process. And I really, really want to fall in love with the process of building my dream life and working towards my goals, and not giving myself such a hard time for the fact that they don't materialize straight away. I also think that because we live in such a fast world where everything is so instant, like instant gratification, like dopamine addiction, dopamine hits of social media, scrolling and like looking at different pieces of content and opinions and experiences, like completely polarized and like only giving each 2 seconds of our attention. We're so used to having things quick. We're used to having quick food, right? Convenience, like order anything to your door, like just things coming really, really easy. I think it's hard for this generation to remember that things actually take time, especially success. Like success is meant to take time. Like it's not supposed to happen like this. And yeah, of course, there are some cases where people do become an overnight success, but those are very, very rare. They're like 0.005%. Most people that appear to be an overnight success have actually been working 10 years, but they've been working behind the scenes. They've been working behind the camera. They've been working, not visible on social media. They've been working without applause for that long. And we're only just seeing like the tip of the iceberg. We're not seeing everything that's been building up to that point. So I think it's also me reminding myself that good things do take time. Graft is not like instantaneous. Success is not instantaneous. It's not normal to be crazy successful and like a millionaire and like a public figure at 21. I want the feeling of the progress and the process to be just as amazing, if not better, than that final outcome, because results and like success and accomplishments honestly can feel really, really empty if you don't enjoy everything that's leading up to them, and you don't have people to share it with as well. Also, being worried that it's never going to happen is a lack of faith in yourself. It's a lack of faith in yourself, and it's a lack of faith in God, the universe, whatever you believe in, that they have your back, and that the thing that you're meant to be doing is the thing that you will be doing. You can't control the when, but you can control the and you can't exactly control the how. These things always materialize in like beautiful, magical, and often just not how you expect them. But the point is that you have to have that blind faith in yourself and in the universe and in God, that thing that you're meant to be doing, you will do, and the successes that you wish to have in the future, you already have them, and that this journey should be one full of enjoyment and learning and reflection, because you don't want to look back on it one day and just think of the times that you were stressed out, or you were so stuck in self-doubt, or you have all of these regrets, and that you never saw your friends, that you never socialized, and you never did the things that you really wanted to do. You never looked after your body and like went to the gym and got sun and like explored new hobbies and just spent time meeting new people, because all of that feeds so much into like your general well-being, and like your mental health is so important when you're trying to build and be successful. And I think that brings us to the final chapter, which is this balance between mental health and your goals, mental health and material success, mental health and career, more commonly known as like work-life balance, right? And it's been a topic of massive conversation for years in terms of having a better work-life balance. What does that look like? What's that look like in a post-COVID world? And for me, I used to be someone that was, and I still am to an extent, but I was someone in a very toxic and like unhealthy way. I was a workaholic. I was working 12 to 14-hour days. I was working so much that I wouldn't eat, or I would forget to eat. I was not sleeping properly. Sometimes I wouldn't brush my teeth or wash my face in the morning because I woke up and just like straight on my laptop. And it was extremely fucked. It was really unhealthy. But at the time, I genuinely didn't think there was anything wrong. I thought that this is what you're supposed to do if you want to be successful, if you want to achieve your dreams. You have to, it's hustle culture, like toxic hustle culture. Like you have to be working 10 times harder than the next person. Hard work trumps talent every time, or discipline trumps talent every time. And every hour that you're not working, there's someone else working that hour, right? Like all of this stuff, which I'm being fed online. And by people that, being fed online by people that I have a lot of respect for and have a lot of things that I want. So if they're providing this roadmap, it has to be right? But the thing is with that is that I don't think we live in an age and an era right now where you have to kill yourself to be successful, and you have to be so unhappy and miserable and put yourself through extortionate, like pain and suffering in order to be successful. I actually think that's a scam. I don't think that's true. Like, I don't believe that anymore. I don't believe it anymore, because one of my new definitions of success is happiness and peace and health. Okay, and I genuinely think that should be on everyone's metric of success too, because your health and the health of your family and your happiness and your peace, how could that not be something that ranks just as much as your goals? Because what's the point in having goals if they're not to get you to a certain point? And a lot of people's metrics of success is like, I want to reach X amount of financial freedom. But why are you wanting to achieve that? It's normally to get certain things, right? And unless you're an extremely materialistic person and it's just materials that you're looking to get. But even then, the root of that is that they probably would give you some sort of comfort and happiness and peace. So why is that not something that we strive for now? Why is that something that we only place at the very end of the journey? Because I don't think it's just not honest. It's not reality. Like, it is possible to be happy and at peace and content and healthy while you're building your dreams. Like, don't let anyone tell you that it's not. Because I was stuck in that for a really, really, really long time. This cycle of like, I have to outwork everyone. I'm not meant to be at my healthiest now. All of that will come later. Like, I need to sacrifice so much now. And of course, to an extent, some of that is true. Like, you do need to make some sacrifices for your dreams. The sacrifice of like putting time into this thing over other things is important. But that doesn't mean that you need to put all of your time into this one thing and you don't have any time to spend on filling your cup in other ways and like growing yourself as a person in other ways, because we're brought up to believe that they're two separate things. Like, for example, let's say you love running, you love to run, and it brings you so much joy and so much peace and it lets you think a lot as well, but you've sidelined that because you're just prioritizing on building your business or working on your career, and that's the most important thing. This running thing, this hobby, this side thing, this thing that you've deprioritized actually could be the one thing that helps the business or the career or whatever you're working on goal-wise, because it's a time that you're feeding into your body, making your body work better, your brain work better, your heart work better, less likely to get sick, which means you're more likely to be more sustainable in your goals. It's also working on your mind, like your mental, clearing your mind, making you able to think more proactively, more sharply, more logically. It even gives an opportunity to like have some space for some things and actually think about them in a new way. So often people talk about how when they have a shower and they take a break from work, that's when things start to fall in place and they're able to have this kind of epiphany, like a new way of thinking or new ideas that can help actually service you when you get back into that place, into that goal-minded orientated place. You know what I mean? So I don't think they should be two separate things. I think they should live together. As I told you, I was a workaholic and I was living really unhealthily, and then I got really sick. I got really, really sick in December to January. There were moments where I couldn't walk. There were moments where I could not sleep. There were moments where I couldn't eat. There were moments where I couldn't use the toilet. All of my basic functions were pretty much taken away from me at one point or another for the space of 2 months. And I am not gonna lie to you, it was probably one of the most terrifying and humbling experiences I've gone through in terms of my health. And at the time, I honestly was just in despair because I couldn't work. I couldn't function. I thought my life was ending. I still don't think I fully processed all of it, but all of this to say, I wouldn't change a thing, because that really, really taught me that there is no other option aside from looking after myself. I have no other choice, because if I want to be successful, if I want to achieve all of my goals, my body needs to be healthy, my mind needs to be healthy, and me overworking, me being burnt out, me pouring my everything into this one thing and not feeding myself in other ways that I needed to be fulfilled was one of the many reasons why I got so unwell, and it took me out of the game for months, like physically and psychologically, and I can't have that happen to me ever again. So the lesson for me here is there has to be balance. You need to be eating right, you need to be sleeping right, you need to be socializing, you need to be filling your cup with other things, you need to be exploring other hobbies, and these aren't separate to your goals. These are helping you work towards your goals just as much as it is like actually being on the inside of whatever it is that you're doing and focusing on. So that is the final thing that I wanted to say on work-life balance. Overworking is a scam. Not finding things that you love and enjoy is a scam. Not enjoying the process and finding happiness in the thing that you're building is a scam. Of course it's going to be difficult, of course it's going to be hard, but you can still enjoy it and you can still make time for the things that you enjoy. And enjoyment and happiness aren't just things that you have to earn, that you don't deserve, that are a reward at the very end for everything that you're doing right now. All right, that is all for the first episode of the New Mission podcast. Thank you so much for joining, for listening, for watching. Feel free to subscribe or leave a comment or send me a DM. Let me know what you thought of the episodes. Feel free to share it with someone that you think could benefit from it. Just remember that change starts with one conversation. Keep showing up, keep listening, keep growing, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye.